Hi everyone, Professor Kat, wonderful wizard of math here to talk to you about how to find missing percents. Let's say my familiar and I want to go to a party, and we want to bring some drinks to the party, and 5/7 of those drinks are going to be Polyjuice Potion. But I need to find out what percent that is. Today I'm going to show you how you can find missing percents. Let's get started. Let's write down our teach point today, or what we're going to learn. Write it down with me. I can write percent, proportion, equations, cross multiply, then isolate my variable to find missing percents. Now, I want you to think of this as 3 easy steps. Your first step is always going to be write a percent proportion equation. After that, you will cross multiply. The last thing you will do is isolate your variable, and that's going to give you your answer, what percent it is. Let's look at our first example. Ooh, party time. This question says, what percent of the guests are birds? Great question. So the first thing that I always have to do is I have to write an equal sign to write a percent proportion equation. On one side, I know it's going to be parts out of 100, but I don't know how many parts because I'm missing the percent. I don't know. So I'm going to write the variable p to show that that's what I'm solving for. So on one side of the equation, I get p out of 100. It doesn't matter which side you put the fraction p over 100 on. Next up, I have to figure out what fraction of my party guests are birds. To do that, I'm going to start with counting how many party guests I have in all. Birds and not birds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So since the whole group, or my total, is 15, I'm going to write 15 as the denominator. To find the percent that are birds, now I have to look for just the birds in my party guests. Let's see. Bird, 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 no, 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 bird, no, bird, and no. So let's see. It looks like, oh wait, I missed 2 owls. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of my party guests are birds. So my numerator in my fraction is going to be 7/15. So here's another way I could write the same information. p 100ths is equal to 7/15. You've now completed step 1, writing a percent proportion equation. Let's move on to step 2, cross multiplying. So with cross multiplying, I'm going to take the numerator on one side and multiply it by the denominator on the other side. So for example, for what I've circled in orange, I would have 15 times p, which is equal to 15p. Then I'm going to set that equal to what's on the other side. So if I cross multiply this numerator times this denominator, 7 times 100 is 700. That is step 2. Step 3 is to isolate the variable. Our variable here is p. And remember, whatever I do to one side of an equation, I also have to do to the other side of an equation. So to get p by itself over here, I'm going to divide this side of the equation by 15 because I know that 15p divided into 15 groups is 1p per group, and that's what I'm trying to get. And if I divide this side by 15, I also have to divide the other side by 15. So 15p divided by 15 is p, and then that is equal to, I'm going to put into my magical Muggle calculating device, 700 divided by 15, which is equal to 46.6 repeating percent. So to answer your question of what percent of the party guests are birds, the answer is that 46.6 repeating percent of our party guests are birds. And again, to review those 3 steps, step 1 was to write this percent proportion equation. Step 2, was to cross multiply. And the last step was to isolate the variable to find your total. Let's look at our next example. What percent of guests have green in their party hats? Now this is a problem I want you to solve on your own. So in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and do those 3 steps on your own. Let's review what those 3 steps are. The first step, do you know it? Did you say, write a percent proportion equation? I bet you did, because you're great at math. Step 2, do you know it? Did you say cross multiply? And last but not least is to isolate the variable. All right, I want you to pause the video, solve this problem on your own, and then come back and check your answers with me. Go! Hi, welcome back. Let's see how you did at going through these 3 steps of writing a percent proportion equation, cross multiplying, and isolating the variable. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is again put my equation where I have a part out of 100 that is missing. That's my mystery. That's the percent that I am solving for. And then on the other side, I'm going to count how many guests I have in all. If I think of this as an array, my array has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guests in each row times 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So I know that there are 20 guests in all. Awesome. Now let's count how many of them have green in their party hats. All right. This guy, yes, no, yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. Let's count how many that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I know that 11 out of 20 party guests have green in their hats. That was step 1. For step 2, I hope you did a great job on your own of cross multiplying this to get 20 times p on one side, or 20p, and to get 11 times 100, or 1100, on the other side. In the last example, I used a calculator. For this one, I think I can use mental math. Let's try that, shall we? The first thing I'm going to do, which looks really easy, is to divide both sides by 10, because I see that both sides are evenly divisible by 10. So I'm going to divide 20p by 10 groups. I would get 2p in each group. And then 1100 divided by 10 would be 110. Now in my mind, I can solve the next step also, because I know that 2p divided by 2 would be p. I've successfully isolated p, the variable. And 110 divided by 2 is just 100 divided by 2, which is 50, plus 10 divided by 2, which is 5, which is equal to 55. So I now know that if I'm trying to find what percent out of 100 something is, and the fraction that that's equal to is 11 out of 20, so the part is 11 and the whole group is 20, when I cross multiply and then isolate the variable, I will find out that 55% of our party guests have green in their hats. I hope you got that same answer. Either way, I'm very proud of you for working so hard today. Your last job is to write down in the comments 2 things. Number 1, write a question that one of your classmates could solve using the percent proportion equation. And number 2, find a question that somebody else has written and solve it. Congratulations, you are all wonderful wizards of math also, especially finding percentages. I'll see you next time. Bye.